see it go live.
This meeting is being live streamed.
Yeah.
Boom.
I like how you get that notification first.
I
Like
know.
it's still
It's
showing that
immediate.
like, setting it up. So I wait. There we go.
And then we'll hear the echo here in a second.
Yep, there we go. There's the
This meeting
echo.
is being live streamed.
Okay. All right, I'll turn
Oh,
the camera on. Ding.
yay.
Here we are.
Right. And update post on UMac.
Yeah, we'll give it a minute like we usually do before starting.
Oh God, why is Melissa tagging me?
Uh,
Oh, okay, cool. It's like, oh no, a post. I don't need any more posts.
no more, no. I like how that's going to be on the live stream too.
Oh, good. Okay, she's advertising for Mac. So we've
Mm.
got Mac, UMac, and I'm gonna update the post on my wall. Hello,
And
everybody.
I'll wave at everybody. Hi. Welcome to our weekly live stream. And speak I can't believe we've been doing this for like a couple months now, I
It
think.
has legitimately been almost 7 weeks, I think.
Yeah, we're on a roll. We got to keep it coming. And then every time we do it, I'm like in a different place. So like now I got this side lighting here. That's not
Oh,
it's
it's
not as like angelic as the other lighting.
you moved your hand and then that's when the light came in. That
Yeah.
was kind of funny.
Ah. Um, so I'll preface this that I've had about 3 hours of sleep, so this is going to be a little more subdued than the other talks, but it's all good. I found my GoPro, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, at least it wasn't left on a bridge.
Yeah, it wasn't left on a bridge where I originally thought I left it, but so it's all good. Part of me just feels bad because I'm like, you don't want to leave stuff in the national parks like trash. And I'm like, oh no, I left my
That's not
GoPro.
trash.
What do I do? I'll let the goats use it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we'll but
If they learn to manage that, I
yeah,
would
learn
be
to manage
impressed.
that. Oh, so speaking of another wildlife encounter, so we're on this bridge and I'm like, I'm putting something together, and then Debbie's like, um, and I look over and there's a deer, like literally like probably not even it was so close. And he was like looking like because he wanted to cross the bridge, but he didn't know what to do because people were on the bridge. And then
Aw,
yeah, I was like, hi deer. But he
at least it
eventually
wasn't a moose.
yeah, it wasn't a moose, yeah, it wasn't a bear, but it was just like, what is up with this wildlife? I guess they get habituated in Glacier, but he ended up turning around and going back. But still, I was like, okay, that's like two pretty close wildlife encounters that I'm not used to.
Deer, of course, are, not very
Yeah,
antagonizing or
yeah,
anything,
they're
but
not
yeah,
very
the
intimidating.
goats, those
Okay,
that could have been scary.
yeah, so it's all good. But anyway, so
All right.
we'll get
It looks like
started.
we've got enough people on.
Fantastic. So hello and welcome to our wonderful world of space weather in our informal live streams. So it seems like people enjoy these, so we keep doing them.
We'll keep
Um,
it at a certain low degree too, as far as tech is concerned. That way it still
yeah,
stays personal,
yeah, exactly, and
informal.
the usual. But we're going to start off with the forecast this past week that was kind of how do you say
The storm
disappointing?
that never was.
Yeah, the storm that never really was. I mean, we did get hit. It just was so weak that you could barely see the shocks in the solar wind data, and you had to really kind of look for it. Um, so yeah, it ended up being a big old nothing burger for a lot of us. There were a couple, decent substorms that some people were able to catch from it. It was raining out here, so we didn't see any of it. Oh
Ew.
well, that's how the cookie crumbles. But
Specifically that first night.
yeah, that
There
first
was
night,
lots of substorm images from Wyoming, Colorado, I think
yeah,
Arizona.
everywhere where it was clear. So, and I guess the smoke caused a lot of visibility issues back east. So it was just kind of like, well, this could have been cool. But did you say you had that data or no?
The solar wind data?
Yeah, from that uh God, when was that? Was that the 28th?
Oh no, I need participation screen sharing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, let me do that to you. Again,
Yes.
I'm not awake right now.
These early mornings are not the best for
Yeah.
awake minds. I've had some coffee, but not enough, unfortunately. All
All right.
right,
Should
I
be
am
okay.
streaming
Sweet.
solar
We're
wind
working
data.
on it. There we go.
All right, this is 3 days. We want to go back,
Yeah, we
say
got to go back
Monday.
to, yeah, because it's been almost a week now. But there was like some clear, like,
There we go.
um, what do you like? Oh, kind of like you see how it just kind of steps up.
And I would say that looks like the best shock that we got
Yeah.
initially, or at least the longer lasting one, where we had the longest period of negative BZs as well. So
Mhm.
honestly, not too surprising that we had some suborbital stuff and some low latitude, or even briefly and on the horizon, we still had
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But yes, several bumps in solar wind, and then the magnetic field data, you almost couldn't tell that anything was coming in. In fact, I won't pretend to know where all the shocks are; they're all there.
Yeah.
But
You could
and
just
there's
see
some
where,
rotation you can see too in some of
Mhm.
these.
But yeah, not a whole lot. It's just,
Mm-mm.
it was just hard to, it
The
was
mess.
one of those events that's just hard to uh, make heads or
This is
tails of.
where this is where CME, well, it's you really can't say that, but the CME mess
Yeah.
thing,
CMS.
it was a
CMS.
CMS. There, thank you. It was accurate. 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we did get hit by a bunch of CMEs. It just wasn't it didn't pan out that well for us Aurora chasers. It was a lot
One
weaker
there.
than anticipated.
Let's see. Maybe a minor one there. And again, this is over a week, so this beginning here and then going through
Yeah.
all of this data. There we go. Zoom in on it a bit. It still looks messy no matter how much you zoom it up.
It's just not a pretty event.
So it sounds like we at least have, well, going over the Huxt model, we're still
Uh,
kind of expecting a glancing blow from the M8 CME. I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't expect anything, neither does Huxt from the looks of it.
yeah,
The
that's the
last
one I
CME,
was,
what, August 2nd?
yeah, which I don't I don't think we saw that one either. But which one was that? That was the what
I'm
was
going to
that?
be honest, I stopped keeping track with
I
all of
know it's
this.
like
It just
the
reverted straight to data only.
yeah, the alerts just went crazy because it was just flare after flare after flare after flare after flare after flare, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay.
It's times
Um,
like now I'm glad we don't actually have to keep track and model for the sake of, power grids and satellite operators,
yes,
because otherwise, to
yeah,
all of you that had to, I'm sorry.
I really feel for Space Weather Prediction Center and M2M and these different missions because man, like that's just a hot mess, just to say, to use the phrase. I don't wouldn't even know how to make heads or tails of it. I just wouldn't. And in fact, like maybe perhaps one of the reasons it was they were, we were thinking it was gonna be bigger than it was all these things were overlapped on LASCO, which could make the image look brighter, like because you have all these things going on.
Yep.
So
And
like
it's
it
hard to see the fainter outlines then. And
yes, you don't see the faint or they're all piled up and they look like they're decent, but they're not. They're all like little tiny bumps. Again, this is going back to the limitations of what we have, which is this one two-dimensional view. Uh,
now, bringing that part up, we at least have stereo A becoming a more favorable position now that it's drifting, or it's about 20 some degrees to the west of Earth, which means now we've got a decent side view from
yeah,
the beyond the west limb on our side, and it should allow triangulation a little easier as well.
yeah. So on that note, what you were talking before we went live, for those that are using stereo A to look for CME hits, you have to take in consideration its location because now that it's moving away from us, if something hits there, doesn't mean it's going to hit here because it's further out. So it's going to become less useful in that respect, but more useful in helping triangulate these CMEs as they come off the sun. So that part might be more helpful in the long run anyway.
Yeah. So if you're looking at stereo A data, then you've seen the shock that just hit it recently, and it's a decent shock as well, but
Yeah,
it means pretty much nothing for the Earth.
yeah, because it's over there, over there.
And so while we're here, I guess I have a 48-hour LASGO window showing the CMEs that have been traversing things so far since at least the beginning of August 1st. And really, it's just the little one from the west side or the
Uh,
east side, which was faint, and then that big one from the west side.
Yeah, then that's the one that Space Weather Prediction Center, I believe, is thinking that it's gonna hit. Um, but all of us were like, we're not so sure.
Like maybe a glancing blow at
Yeah,
best, the
it,
shockwave on the side.
it seems very, very Western projection. But on
Now
that
there
note,
was, where's that filament CME?
yeah, I mean that should be in there by now, right?
It was faint and narrow and not very photographic. Let's see.
Okay.
Saw it somewhere on here. You can see a sign of it going to the southeast, if I'm
Okay.
not
But that
mistaken. I just
actually
don't remember where I saw it.
looked more promising than the other one.
Yeah, as long as it spreads, it was. Oh, there. I think that was it. That
Uh,
little puff coming down to the south. At least that would,
oh,
I believe, correlate with the right timing, since
okay.
this is Lasco C3. But regardless, I'd say we're almost done with the CME train.
Yeah, the CME train.
I'm ready for a short
Uh-huh.
break.
Yeah, we
Or
need to
maybe not a
get,
break, but more like
but
one big CME that we can actually tell
yeah,
what's
like
happening
an
with.
actual like, hey, this is coming, we know for sure. And yeah.
Would be nice.
That one was kind of annoying because it was like, well, it was the X flare and it was like center disc almost dang near. It was like, really? Like
Nothing.
it's just been, I don't know. Yeah, for Aurora chasing, it's been
Pretty
kind of,
frustrating.
yeah, pretty frustrating. So the hawk spot here, it looks like that's probably the filament, I'm gonna guess.
So I'll be honest, like, is there only two other CMEs modeled with this? And again, they're
Oh, that's
almost
that's not
nothing.
much of anything.
This just might be going into, do we have a coronal hole coming? Because that kind of looks like a
Yeah,
coronal hole.
yeah, that kind of, yeah. So I'm like, that's barely a bump, but
Not
I don't see,
really,
no, I don't really see a curl hole in there.
nor do I. I don't think I can search star on there. Let's go. I got one other place to check first.
I do
And once
like,
again, I'm using star.
yeah, I do like how we have all these things at our disposal though. So
We've got a lot of tools. It's just a
yeah.
matter of what tools you use and what you use them for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not even star has any kernel holes coming.
Yeah,
So
so
that
that,
interesting. I wonder what that is. That's a decent increase in speed.
yeah, but it's yeah. So
It's
I'm good.
definitely a perturbed CME. Oh, well, maybe it is something. I don't know.
No, I wonder
It
if
just
it's
it might be the forecast for just that one, that little tiny bump. That's what, 2% probability.
mhm. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe it's that filament or the M8. But I think the M8 like originally they forecasted to show up this weekend. So
That would make sense, like tomorrow or
yeah.
something.
So
Late
yeah.
tomorrow, I assume. Not counting on it. So basically, I guess watch data. We're not really sure of anything else coming that's going to do anything
Yeah. But yeah, like
significant.
even looking at this, like it doesn't look like it's much in their model. Like it's like not very
Even playing
well,
the real time. There's the glancing blow. So this is what we're expecting, this glancing blow here,
yeah,
which technically is still within the time frame, so we could still see it. But then these are the other CMEs that modeled from the west, and it's, yeah, nowhere close to us.
no. And you could see where because the red dot stereo A, right?
Hmm. So the
Yeah.
shock from the initial one that we just had, it makes sense. It's supposed to
Yeah.
hit stereo A
So
quite a bit before it hits
that's a
us.
that's a good illustration for anybody watching, like how different the data is going to look at stereo A from us. Because you see how that's getting the bulk of
So we have a
that
hit
front.
at August 1st, about 6 UT. And then Earth's was scheduled more for like 2000 UT,
Hmm.
somewhere close to that. Although that says August 1st. That
Look at
was 2 days
that.
ago. Don't know if that's
Stereo.
still valid. Again, it's just too hard to tell at this point. There's
Yeah.
just so much that's happened that unless you're keeping meticulous care of what's what, you're gonna miss a lot.
Fun times.
Not that it did much for our Aurora situation.
No, it really didn't. It's fine. It's all good. We'll get more. I know everybody, I don't know how many people I talked to last night sitting on that bridge about the May 10th storm because everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it was just so good." And this, it's like the bar was set so high and now we're just getting all excited about like, oh my God, look at this CME train. Oh,
which
and then,
that was the perfect storm, an
oh
absolute perfect combination of all the variables that could have occurred, including Earth weather. I mean, it's just not going to happen like that
yeah,
again.
yeah. So it was just, oh, it's a pain, but here we are, here we are. So I guess we could talk about solar cycle because, well, we hit a 20, what was it, 23-year high with sold sunspots. So
Sunspot number for
that's
July of
exciting.
2023. Officially, we hit 196.5 for the monthly average. The time it was highest before that was December of 2001. It hit 213.4. And just for everyone
Yeah,
else, 2001 was just before the second peak in cycle 23.
that was about when when things get a little more exciting. So what
This
what's
has
that?
already outdone, I mean, pretty much every prediction. Moving on to this photo at least.
Uh-huh.
Now, I will say the blue, the prediction for NOAA, the blue and the cyan lines here, they are the unupdated ones. NOAA has since updated their forecast, so it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
The red one is the Macintosh cycle estimation, which it's falling
Yeah.
a bit short as of, I want to say, mid 2023.
Yeah, but definitely he definitely had out of all the models, like that was the
It's
one that
pretty
was,
close.
yeah, pretty darn close. So
And especially the huge uptick we've had in the last 4 months, I'd say, that
Mhm.
smooth sunspot number is going to start climbing.
Yeah,
Would be nice to see 150 or 160 at some point.
yeah, it looks like we'll
Oh,
probably
and then I have this one too. I forgot about the
okay. Yeah.
comparison of the last 5 cycles,
Yeah, look at that.
looking quite a bit more like a slightly weaker cycle 23,
Yeah, which
or even a cycle what 20
20, yeah, yeah, going back
ish.
a couple. Yeah. Yeah, 20,
Under
what was
minimum, my
it?
butt.
21 and 22 are just pretty decent, that's for sure. 20, that's why we had so many of these larger, well, we had these larger events during those decades.
1989, 2003.
Yeah,
There's very likely more that I'm forgetting, but
yeah, those ones just stand out because they're like the 89 event is what they call the standard candle event, which is what this is
love that.
why we have the predictions that we do because Quebec lost power, it just caused these things. Um, so that's yeah, 1989. And then of course the Halloween storms of 2003 that everybody wants to experience again. I mean
Which now we can just refrain or refer to the Gannon storm instead,
yeah, that
2024,
too.
because
Yep.
it's better.
So it was better. It just
Not as
didn't
long,
last
but better.
quite as long. That was the kicker was the 2003 event was like 3 days or something
Yeah,
of like,
constant barrage
yeah, constant. And it was just so much. And yeah, I would love to have 3 days of Aurora.
would be nice. It would
Yeah,
give the
like
U.S.
that.
some time to shape up its weather.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get clouded out one day. Oh well, you can shoot it the next day. It's fine. I mean,
Well,
that's kind of the thought we were gonna have this week, but it didn't pan out.
that's
Oh,
okay. Well, that covers at least solar cycle and then further predictions. Now we've got
yeah,
our
so
game.
I guess we could roll into our is it Twilight or is it Aurora game? Let me get that
This seems
screen
to be a
up.
needed game that we need nowadays.
Yeah,
Not to say
so
it's not easy or it's easy to tell the difference because it's not generally, but there are
yeah, which
signs.
is so I will preface this before I do the screen share. Um if anybody, the Glendale app is a really, really great app, and anybody Aurora chasing should have it on their phone because by I have far and wide, it's the most accurate app out there in terms of detecting substorms, and it's because of the way it works. It works really off of magnetometer data versus other stuff. But how it works is a secret, and he has all the right in the world to keep that a secret because he designed the whole thing, Andy.
Thank
So
you, Andy.
yes, thank you, Andy, and keep up the good work because it's awesome. I was able, I was, to give credit to that. Um, like I was watching it last night or this morning, whatever day it is, and it was like, so, I was like, oh, yeah, look, the data is going to turn a little bit. So it's substorm onset, bingo. I set the camera up and did it, just let it time lapse, and there was Aurora in it. I mean, it's like it wasn't anything remotely spectacular at all. Like it was 10-second exposure, like 10,000 ISO, but no,
Wow.
you can see the pillars, little tiny little pillars. And so I was like, I reported it, but it's just, so that's the power of that app, like, and using the magnetometer data versus the stuff in, the solar wind data, and like Ovation, some of those models, because it does not pick up these little ticks of activity. However, it depends on what you're looking for too. Like for the average person, that what we saw this morning, I'd be like, okay, that's kind of lame, which which it was. So so
Let's
there's
say
that.
first timer, first photographer, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's pretty
Yes.
cool. But to preface that, so Andy does not, he will flag twilight images, and rightfully so, because they are very confusing, especially with activity like this, like talking about this morning, where it becomes very hard to discern the color bands of the sun coming in or going away, depending on which, end of the day you're in, and aurora color. And with some cameras, you just it's too close of a call that you just can't do it unless there is blatant activity. Like if you can see a pillar or some sort of structure in it, then it could pass. Um, so he will flag twilight images for that reason, and rightfully so. So we have an example that kind of caused a stir in one of the groups. So I'll share it, and it's this picture right here. Um, and it's twilight. It is not aurora. What caused the stir was the red on the horizon, because in some images, especially when it gets a little darker, red aurora can appear like that because of how low we are in latitude and you just see the tops. But the giveaway in this image is the time. It was 10:30, which is still well within
Well within
twilight
twilight. Yep. Yep.
in the northern regions. And you also have the blue coloration and some of this green. I mean, depending on what screen you're on, it looks a little green on my screen.
It's
So
hard to
that's,
tell through the stream.
yeah. So and it's not it's like I believe it's a cell phone image. So again, like it's hard to these become very hard to differentiate what is what. But kind of the key giveaways is to keep tabs on what the time is. And if you have an app like Photo Pills or Planet Pro, any of these photo planning apps, it'll give you your twilight times, like your astronomical twilight, nautical twilight, civil twilight. Um, Astronomical twilight, you can start to see things a bit better. But it's still like you gotta be careful with it. You just gotta be careful with it. Because you're still gonna get some of the coloration in the sky that will not be there once it gets dark, dark. This almost looks like nautical twilight to me. This doesn't even look like astronomical twilight.
No, I don't think there's any reds during astronomical generally.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So I believe this is even even earlier than that. So yeah, this to me, this is definitely a twilight image. You're still seeing some of the red from the sunset, and it can be easily mistaken for aurora, because if you're out there, looking for a weak aurora, that's what it looks like. A diffuse colored band on the horizon. But if this was an hour later, like 11:30 midnight, it could be argued that maybe it was. But this is just too early. It's definitely twilight.
So to summarize those 2 points, check your twilight times. If you're after astronomical twilight ends, you got a chance.
Yeah.
A and B, if there is a color gradient in the sky that goes from red, green, yellow to blue, or even just green to blue, and that's, like a dome almost in the photo, that's the color gradient of sunset or sunrise. It's not aurora.
Yeah, and the other thing I noticed that especially the backs of screens on cameras, and it has fooled me before too, because you get, you're just like, oh, look at that, is it will show like a green band. It will, during twilight, and you're like, oh, that's aurora, and it's not. Unless of course you have pillars in there or some other defining feature. But I don't know, like it's crazy, because if you download the image, that green band that's on the back of the screen disappears. So
And it
it's
makes
something,
sense. That
it's
LCD screen is tiny.
yes, it's something in the LCD screen, the way it's projecting it, but it will, and I've seen it, it will like show you this green band that is not really there. So yeah, it 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 can be a sore point because people get excited, they want to see aurora, even if it's camera only. But yeah, the twilight stuff has been an interesting thing to watch unfold on various groups, and sometimes we have to be the bearer of bad news. So long story short, be mindful of what time it is. If there's no differentiating features in it, like pillars or things like that, then I would just be very careful about posting it or saying anything about it. And even the Glendale app agrees, like they will flag it and remove it. It's too hard to tell.
Couldn't have
So
phrased it better myself.
yeah, there's our Twilight rant of the day. I should have more examples, but I know this one was the one that was being questioned quite a bit. So I figured we'd just pull this and talk about it because it's a really good example. But while I have the screen up, and we'll kind of end on this, we usually like to end on weather, I guess.
Might as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about our favorite ongoing issue
Ugh.
with wildfires in the West. I mean, we're talking about we don't have much in the aurora forecast to really talk about too much, but just in case that one on the West Limb ends up hitting for some reason.
We do have new moon time, so astro relevance.
Yeah, we are in new moon, so I like to bring up the smoke map because this is the bane of our existence right now. It could be clear, but it as people saw last week with what did show up, the hazy skies, especially in these purple areas and on the red, it really affected visibility. Like you could see the colors, you could kind of see some of the features, but I was like, oh man, that is terrible. Like, and it's disappointing, but there's nothing we can do about it. So we just gotta live with it and hope for the best. They can get some of this stuff under control. And as we go into the fall, when it just naturally burns out too. So right now, I mean, I have this on Sunday at 9 a.m. So let's go to like, when was that forecast? I think it was Sunday night or something like that. Um,
Sunday
so
into Monday.
as you see, um, yeah, this only goes out to, so we got 12 a.m. Monday. So the smoke is starting to come back to the Great Lakes region. It looks like eastern part of the UP looks like it will be okay. Um, the central part of the country looks all right, but yeah, look at this band basically across the northern tiered part of the country, except the far,
Convenient.
yeah, except like New York, northeast is okay, but yeah, like basically from Oregon, all the way across Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota. We're just gonna get another round of smoke. So let's be prepared for that. And I can attest to, let's go back to what is it right now? Now is
808
yeah,
328 UT.
yeah. So about we'll just do
Oh, you're on mountain time.
yeah, mountain time. So let's
So
go
928.
9:28. So I am right here where my little hand is. It's purple. I'm looking out the window. Yeah, yeah, that sucks.
Get a lot of cool orange red color with that.
Yeah, so I can confirm that this is accurate. I'm sitting right in the purple and it's very, very hazy. I can still see some of the mountains, but they're disappearing.
I'm
Um,
going to at least have a positive note put out on all this since all of this sucks so much. So if you're in this purple area and you've got a camera, the good news is the smoke acts like a natural solar filter generally. So if you can look at the actual sun and see that it's just a ball in the sky, you can get all the sunspots photographed that are on it
yeah,
right now. And there's quite a
that
few.
that is really cool.
Some benefit.
I've seen some I think Sarah Goodwin, a photographer in Michigan, actually got this really cool telephoto shot of these people on one of those piers and the sun coming down, and you could see the sunspots.
Oh, that's
Like
cool.
it's actually really cool. So if there is any sort of silver lining to the smoke issue, it's like, yeah, you can get some pretty neat shots with the sunspots in it without using a solar filter because it's acting like Christian was saying, it's acting as a solar filter. So there's that.
I'm going to add one part to that too, and I'd say that's probably best kept for not too deep of a focal length. So don't get your
Yeah,
telescope
yeah,
out and use it and not have a solar filter on it because the second you have any sort of clearing in that, it's going to get bad. But we're
yeah.
talking, 400 millimeters, go nuts, whatever, that's fine. It's not going to be too bad. But don't go deep zoom thinking you can do sunspot telephoto photographs of the sun and live to tell about it, basically,
Yeah,
if
I
I'm
don't really
exaggerating.
want, yeah, it's a good point because we don't want people coming back. Hey, you ruined my telescope.
I had my camera in or my eye in and I was looking and then a patch moved and I'm blind now. Oh, yeah, don't
So
do that.
yeah, still,
Wide
still,
angles, please.
still use caution. All right. And on that note, I guess that can concludes our Space Weather Weekly of the week.
Which
So
was mostly weather updated at this point.
yeah, mostly weather update and whining about what wasn't the thing that wasn't. So we'll be back. We'll be back next week. And of course, if anything happens in the meantime, we will jump on a Zoom call and maybe rope in some of our other friends that like to, sit here and tear apart CMEs and talk about that kind of stuff. But yeah. But hey, it's all good. So
Yep.
anyway, we will catch you guys next week. And actually, let me make sure I get up my Zoom here so I can end this and properly and not say anything silly that I'm going to regret because I'm good at that. So I'll stop share here. I've been pretty good about that lately. So
Yeah, no swearing in the last several.
yeah, crossing fingers. All right. Well, we will catch you guys next week. Adios.